What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Kevin Jackwitz here with the Kaged review, and I am going to do a spoiler review for Deadpool 2. Spoiler review, spoiler alert, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch this video. So, I got my Deadpool shirt on, I got my Deadpool keychain, got my Deadpool statue. We're ready. So I talked about kind of briefly what I thought about the movie. It was really cool. A really good movie. Funny from beginning to end. This is one of the better comedy action movies that I've seen in a very long time. And I think that everybody here just did a phenomenal job with their parts. Surprisingly, there were some emotional moments in this movie that you really had to get into some acting for, and I think that they really brought it home, both Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin specifically. So let's get into this. First and foremost, I am a huge Cable fan. I have been a Cable fan for a very long time, way before most people even knew who the hell Cable was. He is the son of Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, or more specifically, like a cloned version of Jean Grey and the Phoenix. So, two amazingly powerful mutants get together and have an incredibly powerful mutant for their son. So I was really worried about the casting, and I was really worried about, if they were going to legitimately bring Cable to the big screen, and I think they did an amazing job. From using basically all of his abilities in the movie to Josh Brolin, who is an amazing actor. This guy really sells emotions very well, and surprisingly so at times. And so when I see this on screen, I was like, okay, well, it's Josh Brolin though. I mean, he doesn't exactly look the part, but he actually hit the gym really hard. And when you see him on screen, he really actually does look the part. Like, the guy just looks like fucking Cable. They nailed it as far as I'm concerned. And I am a huge fan, so I am not hating this version that they brought to the big screen. And it was really cool because they used his time travel abilities, they used his telekinesis abilities, they've got a very cool looking, cyber arm that kind of branches into his chest a little bit. Just a really cool looking visual there. As far as Deadpool himself, I think that Ryan Reynolds really upped his game this time. Because one thing I liked about the first one is, it's very debaucherous and it's got a lot of really cool comedy in it. And that's all fun and cool, but, that was like 85% of Deadpool in the first movie. And they get deeper into who Deadpool is as a character, and I think they really brought it home with some emotional tie-ins this time. And Ryan Reynolds, I don't know that I've seen a whole lot of his movies where you have to rely on serious acting ability with Ryan Reynolds in it. Except for maybe Amityville, which I actually really liked and I thought he did very well in. And I think that he just sold everything here very well. There were a couple of times where you had to, sell either being torn apart or being just in a kind of rage state. And he nails it. Like, he does a very good job with it. So, Ryan Reynolds, tremendous. Zazie Beetz as Domino was really cool too. I really like Zazie because she just comes across as such a likable character on screen. She's got this very cute smile and just, this infectious personality. And it works. It just sells itself. And I think Zazie's personality really shines through in the Domino character, which was awesome. Because, being that she has, luck is her power, and things just kind of magically happen to, kind of fit exactly what she needs. It's like she's this carefree character that doesn't really have too many worries, which was really cool. Julian Dennison, he's the kid that plays Fire Fist. And I have to say, there was a talk of another movie, I don't even know what the name of it was, that he did that everybody was talking about. It was really good. And honestly here, it's, this kid who's kind of jaded by the things that have happened to him. He's kind of in a bad way. And so he's really angry, and he's really emotionally torn apart at times. And again, he just really brings it home. I mean, there's a scene where he's really, really pissed off at this headmaster who has done some stuff to him. And it's this climactic scene where, he's trying to exact revenge, and you can see the anguish on his face, and, his facial inflection is really good. I loved it. And then directly right after that, not but a couple of minutes later, he's like superly broken up, and I think he also just did a very good job there. So very, very cool. Morena Baccarin, as Vanessa, or Copycat, if you guys know who Vanessa turns into. Eventually she becomes Copycat, who isn't exactly like Mystique, but she can morph into other people and stuff like that. So, and actually morph into their abilities, like, take on not only somebody's appearance, but their abilities. So, very cool character, and I'm actually surprised that they haven't actually made Vanessa Copycat yet. I guess they're saving that, and I don't know why, but they need to bring her out. You don't really get to see too much of Brianna Hildebrand, and the new actress, Shioli Katsuno, I hope I'm saying that right, it could be way off. Brianna is Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Shiolo plays Yukio, who is her girlfriend, and I'm guessing that the character is actually Surge. It doesn't really say that she's Surge, but I'm thinking that that's Surge. You don't get a lot of them on the screen. You get a couple of quick quips here and there, but not much to go by. I'm guessing that we're going to see more of Surge in another sequel, because they're going to make another sequel, let's be honest. But what you do get is very cute, and especially the interaction between Surge and Deadpool is like they're very cute interactions, and it pisses off Negasonic Teenage Warhead because, she can't stand Deadpool. So that was cool. So, really all around, the performances were really good. I mean, you don't go into this expecting a whole lot of storyline, but for what storyline you do get, it was actually really cool. And the one time that I think you had a weak link as far as the writing goes, they actually pointed out in the movie. So, I mean, they're very self-aware with this movie, and they don't mind making fun of themselves, of each other, of the whole series as a whole. I mean, it's very fun to see somebody taking on a movie like this. When you're working with somebody who breaks the fourth wall constantly and is talking directly to the audience and bringing up the comparisons between Marvel and DC and Fox and Marvel, and it's so fun to watch. It really is. So, getting into like major spoilers here, the first thing that I thought was really cool that they did is after the opening sequence, you have Deadpool at the X-Men campus, and he's running around in Professor X's wheelchair, and Colossus is chasing after him. And then you get this scene where there's a meeting going with the actual first class branch of X-Men, and Beast shuts the door really quick. But it was really funny because you have Ty Dillinger there, and you have the guy who played Quicksilver, and you got Professor X. Obviously, Beast is there. I thought it was really fun. Like that, it was very quick. And it was almost so quick that you didn't even get to see everybody that was there. But it was really cool that everybody was brought in to do that real quick. Very, very cool cameo there. Another really big surprise to me is if you watch the trailer for this movie, you have scenes in the trailer where like Bedlam is in a fight, and you have Shatterstar is in a fight too. And the trailer completely lies to you. What actually happens is as soon as they jump out of that plane in the trailer, they all die. And it was such a funny thing because it's like shock value at first, because you're like, holy shit, is he just dead or what? And then you realize, no, they're all dying. And I'm talking Bedlam goes through the window of a bus, Shatterstar goes into the propellers of a helicopter. You have a cameo with Brad Pitt as the Vanisher where he hits the power lines. And it's so funny because like the whole time the joke is you can't see the Vanisher because he's the Vanisher. And then when he hits the power lines, you actually get to see who it is. And it's fucking Brad Pitt, which was really cool that he did that. You know, he doesn't usually do small bit cameos like that. And it was really fun to see. Terry Crews as Bedlam. You had Bill Skarsgård as Zeitgeist. And that was another really rough scene. Because that Peter character that doesn't have any abilities, he's trying to save Zeitgeist from a wood chipper, and then Zeitgeist pukes all over him, and it's all acid and just burns him up. So it was pretty intense there. But such a good movie. You had Alan Tudyk and Matt Damon. There's a couple of rednecks. They're all dressed up in costume. Matt Damon's got a bunch of excess fat makeup on to make him look fatter than he is and just kind of redneckish. So you probably wouldn't even recognize him unless you were really paying attention. Honestly, I knew it was Matt Damon and couldn't tell. So, and other surprises in there for me, like the end credits were like the big end credit fun scenes. And you had a nice cameo of the Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine. The one that everybody hated, including Ryan Reynolds himself, with the sewn mouth and, you know, the whole thing. So, at the end of the movie, Deadpool gets Cable's tool that takes people back in time, and he uses it, and you see Deadpool in the scene. Hugh Jackman comes out, and he's like, oh, I guess Stryker found a way to shut you up. And then Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool character actually shoots the Origins Deadpool character. And he's like, don't worry, I'm just closing up the timeline and keep shooting the original Deadpool. And it was so funny, man. I absolutely loved that. I thought it was great. And then right after that is a clip where Ryan Reynolds is smiling and he's like, welcome to the big leagues. And he's holding a copy of Green Lantern. And then Deadpool shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head. Absolutely perfect. Absolutely the funniest parts of the movie, in my opinion. I don't know that there wasn't anybody in that theater that wasn't laughing their ass off at that. But honestly, the whole movie was like that. Like, there was just so many self-aware parts that I absolutely loved. As a comedy, I don't know that there's anything funnier that I've seen in 2 decades, honestly. The last movie that I can remember that being this funny was Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. And right now I'm really torn as to like which one I think is funnier. I used to watch Liar Liar, man. I remember buying the CD and just playing the hell out of it, and like I could see me doing that with this movie too, because it's just non-stop, beginning to end. As an action movie, the sequences are definitely bigger. The road chase scene, I think, was definitely more elaborate this time, and that was very cool to see. They're definitely upping the ante. Another really big thing that I loved about this movie, well, loved and hated, was that they finally added Juggernaut. And Juggernaut is this character that's like, if you're not familiar, he's just super badass. Like the whole thing, if you've seen X-Men 3, The Last Stand, they were talking about how if he builds up any momentum, he can't be stopped. Okay, well, that's true. But it's so much more than that. And one of the biggest fight scenes in the comics that people just absolutely loved was Colossus versus Juggernaut. It's a very, very famous fight in the X-Men series. They did that in this movie, and it was so cool to see that on screen. My big complaint about that was that I would have much rather had 2 actual actors, actual characters for these roles. I guess they kept Colossus because he was already CGI because they had budget restraints in the first movie. But it's like now, you know, you can move away from that. You can add an actual character. So I was a little disappointed that they were both CGI, but not so much that it took away terribly. Juggernaut actually looked pretty good for the most part because most of his head was covered up. But there were a couple of times where they got close up on his face and you could see his lips talking, and you could definitely tell it was CGI there. It's nowhere near Thanos quality CGI. So that did take away from it. I would have much rather had them had an actual actor in there. But it was cool because it was like the Juggernaut made from the comics, you know, with a big ass full head helmet. So that was pretty cool to see. So at the end of the day, man, this movie, holy shit, was it good. I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10. Honestly, it wasn't perfect. It had a couple of, you know, low points, but very, very minimal. Honestly, very minimal. The CGI, I think, being the lowest point. You know, when you're introducing a character as well known and as well loved as Juggernaut, I think you should take the time to have a little bit more than CGI. Other than that, though, no complaints. Absolutely hilarious, absolutely fun action. Had some really cool moments that were pretty touching. The two biggest being right at the beginning, Vanessa gets shot, and then she dies, and then that's the whole reason Ryan Reynolds is in this tailspin of emotions. And the other big one, I think, was the end where Fire Fist is dealing with, you know, wanting to exact revenge on this guy that was torturing him, and then Deadpool jumps in to save him from taking a bullet from Cable. And yeah, Julian Dennison sold that off really well. And, well, so did Ryan Reynolds, but I think for that scene in particular, it was really Dennison that made the scene. So, yeah, dude, good fun ride from beginning to end. So, hopefully, you guys have already seen this if you're watching this. So let me know what you think in the comments. What were your favorite scenes? What did you like? What did you wish they would have done differently? And if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Kaged Nation, out.